if I could look like a teenager, I can't. If I could, I'd totally be in Heather's. I'd just fly out and be like, I'm in the show now.
Right?
It's like I don't really care which one I am. They're all fucking stupid, and I love it. I just want to
they're
sing
all, yeah.
Heather, Heather, and Veronica.
It's so dumb.
Hi, hello.
Right?
Welcome.
This is what
we talk about. Just so you know, we get lost on tangents frequently.
All the time. All the time. Are we gonna like introduce ourselves in the first?
Oh, that's probably a good idea.
Like, hello, friend.
Hi, friend.
It's been a minute.
It's been actually literally 60 seconds since the last time we said hi and tried to do this, but what are first episodes for?
That's exactly right.
Well, welcome to our brand new podcast called
Brunch and Judge.
We are your hosts. I'm April.
And I'm Claire.
And we are here to get you through your week with some brunch and all of the judging that we can give.
So much judging. So much judging.
So, Claire, would you like to tell our audience of, I don't know, I think my parents are going to listen to this maybe. I kind of threatened them. So I was like, you have to, it's like family text message. You have to listen, you have to like, you have to subscribe, you have to give us 5 stars.
I don't know that I want my parents listening to this.
Fair. However, my mom will tell your mom about it.
My parents don't like it when I say bad words. That's why.
Oh, we should just release a separate copy for them where it just beeps them out for them.
Yeah, just all the censoring in that particular.
Well, should we tell anyone else who's not my mom and dad how we got the name for our very wonderful podcast?
Oh my gosh. So for many, many moons, April lived in Lexington, and I currently still live in E-Town, Elizabethtown. And
we're talking Kentucky, by the way.
Yes, Kentucky. Don't talk to us about bourbon. That's all people everywhere else. It's like, oh, bourbon, that and Kentucky Fried Chicken. Go learn about something else, please.
We also have horses.
That too. It's either that or the Derby. Bourbon and Derby. You're just like, oh my gosh, come on, people. Anyway, I would drive up on the weekend sometimes to spend the weekend with April, and on Saturdays we would get up, and I don't even remember how it like specifically started, but we would go to this one place called Josie's.
Oh my god, I miss Josie's.
I do too. It had the best like breakfast food. They have this like, what was that? That grit casserole.
Oh yeah, just like
cheesy grit casserole.
Oh,
so good.
Good.
I'm not very much of a grit person, but that cheesy grit casserole was amazing. Anyway, but we would go there, and there were always a wait because, Lexington's a college town.
Mm-hmm.
And so many of these college kids would come there, and they would show up in these most, you know how college kids are. We all did it when we were in college. They would show up in these ridiculous outfits. Like they're bumming, but then it was like, oh, I did my hair and my makeup. And I'm like, really? You put that much effort into that for what you're wearing? I mean, you're going to go that far. At least get on a pair of jeans. Good grief. We would sit there and people watch and judge all the people walking by and what they were wearing. Because certain times a year, certain outfits would come out. Like fall was always the Han Solo look with the puffy vest and the leggings and the Ugg boots, and you're just like, and they all look the same.
I forgot
not a
the
single
Han
person
Solo.
that had like their own personality come out through what they were wearing. It was just these gaggles of females with all of them wearing the exact same outfit.
I mean, the matchingness level. Like, okay, fine. I have a pair of Uggs. I do. But like I never had that pair of Uggs. You know what I mean by that? Like the one that literally every person had the identical, like, color even.
Oh,
height, model. I don't know what to call it.
I have the same model of Uggs. Yeah.
They're like, how do you not get them confused? I mean, they probably live together. It's a very sorority-centric kind of town. So, do they get their shoes? Do they have to write their names on their shoes? Like, are their names on the bottom? This is Angie B's instead of Angie D's.
Yeah, I mean, it was like you have to write the name of your name on the tag and the leggings. It's like, what's going on here? But it was like they come in and they would like try to look like they had been working out too. And it's like, this is back
when my favorite.
I was training for a half marathon. So I would get up before April would, and I would go running in her neighborhood. So I literally like would have run 3.5 miles before we ever got to breakfast. And it's like, I would come in, my hair was always kind of crazy because I sweat so much when I exercise. It's insane.
You do?
But yeah, it's ridiculous. It's so bad. Anyway, it was like my hair was always kind of crazy, but it was like at least I would put real clothes on, and these girls would come in and she's like, they didn't work out. They have not worked out. Why are they wearing that?
Well, and keep in mind, people, before you like jump on that, but everybody does it. Like, this was before everybody wore the leggings as pants. Like, I had leggings, but I wore them when I went to the gym to do exercisey things. Like, they weren't, it wasn't a fashion thing yet.
Yeah, and I also feel like this was back before they made workout leggings that really covered your bottom half. Like from, even though they're leggings, but they still would have like that level of see-throughness. They weren't completely opaque, and it was, you could always, I can kind of see that girl's panties. That's great.
Or you're like, oh, I can't see her panties.
Yeah, that kind of thing. This has been going on for a while. This is nothing new. I mean, we've been doing this for like over a decade, so.
We just judge new things now.
Yes. We've moved on from judging people's attire to judging everything else, so it's
I still judge people's attire, so don't.
Well, we don't do it as much as we used to, especially now since we're like on opposite ends of the country from each other.
That's fair. But I still judge people who wear nude leggings.
Absolutely.
That don't have any kind of long top or skirt. Because it just looks like you're naked. It just does. I'm sorry. It just does.
Like there are certain colors. Yes, there are certain colors of leggings. It's like, that doesn't need to be a legging. That color, no. Stop. So yeah. That's how the Brunch and Judge came about.
So, Claire.
Yes.
What are you judging this fine week?
Oh. Well, I'm also judging Tom Brady.
I hate Tom Brady.
That topic. I'm specifically judging his retirement speech. Okay, for those of you who don't know, background, April and I, especially me, everybody knows that there is no love lost between myself and Tom Brady. Not a fan, never have been. I'm still convinced that the Super Bowl in 2001 was rigged.
Same.
Or actually the one after, 2002.
But it was the 2001 season. Yeah.
Yeah, the 2001 season that the Super Bowl is actually in 2002. I'm still convinced that was rigged. I mean, I will never forget that. Anywho, because it was just like after 9/11, and it's like, oh, the Patriots won. Yeah, that's not rigged. Whatever. Anyway, that's where it all started, and it has continued until. So I'm judging his retirement speech because he did not mention the Patriots at all. He spent 20 fucking years with the New England Patriots and did not mention them like even a smidge. No hint, no nothing. It was all the oh, my boy is on the Buccaneers going into battle with you, which, A, quit calling football fucking battle. It's not a battle. It's a game.
Not a battle. Well, this will be fun to edit later.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
So, Claire, tell me more about why you hate Tom Brady.
Anyway, what I was getting ready to say was, if you go in and you read his speech, like there's parts of it that I was like cracking up at because they sounded like a goodbye note in your high school yearbook. I'm not kidding. Like he was talking about his coach, and it was like, "Thanks for putting up with me!" Exclamation point. Like what the hell?
Was there a "Have a great summer"?
I know.
Stay cool.
Yeah, and then it was like, to the city of Tampa Bay and to the city of Tampa and St. Petersburg area, and all this blah, blah, blah. And at the end, it was like, I really want to be a part of another boat parade. Like, what the fuck? You sound like a teenage girl. Stop it.
I have a theory that he is actually a teenage girl. That's the reason why he has had such a long career, is that actually he is sucking out the life force of probably teenage girls because they have lots of energy. Probably. And is like, I'm staying young by sucking out their life source. I'm just saying. Taking their energy.
I mean, the man is so pretentious as to release a cookbook and call it a living document.
It's a living document.
Like, no. No. A living document is something like the fucking whatever, Constitution. You know, Bill of Rights and all that jazz. Like any of the, any of the amendments. Well, like that's a living document because that's something you can vote on and change, to change with the times. Like, how is a cookbook a living document? That's so dumb.
He's going to send you, some more pages for the low price of $999.99.
Come on.
To me,
it was something too. It's like, who's going to pay $500 for a cookbook? It was so ridiculous.
Well, and who they're targeting are people who can't afford that. I mean, anyone who could afford that can just afford to be friends with Tom Brady, quite honestly. Like, oh yeah, I'll buy your cookbook.
Well, anybody who could afford that cookbook could just go and get their own fucking trainer.
Yeah.
And dietitian and probably in-home chef, which is probably what he has. It's like...
Yeah. I highly doubt he knows how to make a smoothie, so...
I mean, seriously, if you get a chance, go read his retirement speech. Oh, but then it was like a week later, he put out this video on Twitter. It was like a compilation of his greatest moments with like some easy inspirational music. And I mean, obviously it had to show like moments where he was with the Patriots.
Well,
so it was
that's like, where he was I hate the guy. Let's all be real. I think he's a terrible human being and a jerk, but he's an excellent athlete. I can't deny that. He absolutely is. I mean, he played 100%. Elite level sports for more years than most people.
Nothing to do with his athletic ability.
So, like, I mean,
put it that way.
He's super. He's talented. He's got, he's had a lot of success. But like, what kind of an asshole doesn't pass that success on to his teammates who, without them, he would be nothing. Like, you can be the greatest quarterback in the history of all of football, but if you're playing for the Bengals, except for this year when they're doing good, and I love them, thank you, but like, you're not gonna make it to Super Bowl. Like, you're just not, because one person cannot win all the games. It's not how team sports work. So the conceitedness of him just makes me disgusted. And like, I don't wish him ill will, but I wish he would, have like a Ebenezer Scrooge moment where he's like, oh, wait, I'm not a good person. I should maybe fix this, but whatever.
Right.
He won't.
I know. So, it's just
Tom Brady.
Yeah, the whole thing was just everything about the Buccaneers and the people associated with the Bucs, like the owners and, his friends and stuff like that. His agent, and at the end it's like, oh, and I'm looking forward to like building my brands.
What?
I've been fortunate enough to start this, that, and the other, and I'm looking forward to building my brand. And you're just like, ew. Like,
Well,
everything about it was like, ew.
Here's the thing. I bet he does like them better because they've only known him for 10 minutes, quite honestly. So, like, they don't know the level of douche canoery that he can attain without a whole lot of effort, quite honestly. Like, it just comes natural to him. I mean,
Right.
What are you going to do? What are you going to do? That is an excellent thing to judge and hate on because, as you know, I have my whole life hated Tom Brady and was super pleased that while I was in grad school in Boston, he was out for the season because he hurt his little knee. And I was like, woohoo!
And then he was out for a minute because of that whole Deflategate thing.
God, Deflategate. That came up on my Facebook memories.
Yes. We made Rice Krispie footballs one year for Super Bowl, and like 12 of them were like actual looked like footballs, like 3D, full, and then the other 12 were just like flat in the shape, like that oblong football shape.
Well, like, you cannot tell me. Like, okay. So, caveat: I play zero sports, not remotely sportsy. I suck. However, if you are the GOAT of quarterbacking in the land of football, and that's not me saying that, that's other people who think he's the greatest of all time. Whatever. I'm not going to argue that. But if you are really one of the most elite athletes and your entire job is to touch a football, hold it, and then throw it to someone, you should know when it doesn't feel fully inflated. Like, it's not rocket science, I imagine, when every single day of your life you're holding and throwing footballs multiple times, because that's your actual job. To be like, oh, I just didn't know there's anything wrong. Lies.
I mean, it's true, because like I played basketball in high school, and it's one of those things. You get a basketball, you can tell when it's not fully inflated, and you can also tell when it's kind of overinflated.
Mm-hmm. You can feel it.
Like the way it bounces. I mean, I feel like that when you have.
Why? Oh, there you are. You just came back.
Why?
I don't know. Well, you moved your head. You did that, and then everything went away. I don't know.
Weird. No, but what I was saying is, like, as a, if you're a basketball person, there's kind of like this sweet spot where the ball is full of air. Like, you can tell when it's overinflated or if it's not, doesn't have enough air in it, just how it bounces and even how it feels in your hand. So, I mean, I completely agree with that. Like, he should have known, especially like you said, he's the one who handles the ball more than anybody.
Yeah.
And when he probably grips it, because you've got to grip that to throw it. It's like, yeah, he should have known. And I absolutely believe he was in on it.
Well, I'm like, he did know. He just was like, oh, this is to my advantage, so it's fine.
Right. It's like, what?
So much hate for Tom Brady.
All the hate. Okay, I'm done judging. It's your turn. What are you judging?
Well, this week, I am judging Jeff Bezos.
Yes.
I don't know if you know this.
He's also a terrible human being.
He is a terrible human being.
I love that we're judging the bad people.
We're judging bad people this week that just are not good people. Well, you may or may not know that Jeff Bezos is having a new super yacht built for himself.
I've heard that. Is this about the bridge?
It sure is. Because, of course, he can't just have any old super yacht. He has to have a record-breaking super yacht.
You want to know who else wanted to have records broken? The people who built the fucking Titanic.
Yes.
I mean, he might have the same fate. Just throwing that out there.
I mean, I'm fine with that. So, let's see. So, his record-breaking super yacht is going to be the world's largest sailing yacht. For him and all of his, like, two friends.
Yeah. Somebody's compensating for something. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So it's being built in the Netherlands, I believe. Dutch is Netherlands, right?
Yes.
For some reason, it doesn't make sense in my head, but it's right. The Netherlands.
Yes, because my family is Dutch.
There you go.
my ancestors are Dutch. Is it gonna look like his space rocket?
Ooh.
Is it gonna look like a penis?
I mean that's an interesting thought. It might be more phallic shaped than a normal traditional yacht. But it is going to be built in the Dutch city of Rotterdam.
Okay.
Actually, a little further inland, but whatever. But the Dutch city of Rotterdam has this really nice historic landmark bridge called and I'm going to butcher this, the Koningshaven Bridge. I'm sure it's pronounced much differently if you actually know Dutch. I don't. But they call it the Hef. Like, it's their cute nickname. So, the Hef Bridge. So, in order to get Jeff Bezos' record-breaking super yacht to the ocean, they have to dismantle part of the Hef Bridge in order for it to pass, because the Hef Bridge is one of those where, like, the middle part rises up instead of, like, a normal rod bridge that goes like, Deet! It's like a part that lifts straight up.
Like the whole section just raises up instead of like where the two sections meet in the middle and then raise up. Yeah.
And so, of course, his super yacht has 3 masts that are just too tall to fit under the maximum capacity of this bridge. So, what are they gonna do, Claire? Are they gonna
dismantle the bridge?
He's like, are they gonna make the boat a little bit smaller so it will fit? Of course not. They're going to dismantle a nationally historic bridge that they had just finished refurbishing in 2017. And the city promised its people, in 2017, that they would never dismantle the bridge again. It only took 5 years.
Never again. But 5 years later.
5 years later, they're like, oh, Jeff Bezos wants it? Okay, we'll do anything for him because he'll pay for it. I'm like, dude, like,
secretly, you're going to pay for it.
Yeah.
He says he'll pay for it.
But reality is he's not. He's not paying for it.
You're going to somehow pay for it. That's just how it is.
Now, of course, all of the residents of Rotterdam are like, you've got to be kidding me. This is obscene.
I mean, 100%.
Okay, so Jeff Bezos is like the 3rd richest man in America. I mean, not America, in the world. The 3rd richest man in the world. Only outdone by Elon Musk, which, really? I didn't realize he was richer than Jeff Bezos, but whatever. And also
not much of a better human being than Jeff Bezos either.
Fair. But then there's also some random French businessman I've never heard of. He's like the 2nd richest man in the world. And I'm like, I should know who you are. And I don't.
You're like, come be friends with me.
Yes. Hey, would you like to invest in a podcast? You can support us on Patreon.
100%. April, I'll soon be learning French.
I took French in high school. I'm totally ready for it. Let's do this. But anyway, so of course the locals of Rotterdam are less than thrilled, but Pablo, and I'm going to wreck his last name, Stroerman, that sounds Danish, or not Danish, Dutch, right? Stroerman?
I mean,
it's, sure. Pablo, well, let's go Pablo, took to Facebook and said, calling all Rotterdammers, which, by the way, that's an excellent name for people of Rotterdam.
Yes.
Rotterdammers. Calling
like,
all Rotterdammers.
What would be another one, like Rotterdamians or something like that?
Rotterdamites?
Yes. I still like Rotterdammers. That's better.
Rotterdammers. calling all Rotterdamers. Take a box of rotten eggs with you and let's throw them en masse at Jeff's super yacht when it sails through the Hef in Rotterdam.
I concur. That's an excellent idea.
Now, I don't know about you, but when I post stuff on Facebook... Here we go.
Okay.
So as I was saying...
Rotterdamers.
So Pablo decided that he would post on his Facebook for all the Rotterdamers to come take a box of rotten eggs and throw them at the yacht as it passed through.
Which is an excellent idea.
Right. And as I was saying, like, when I post something on Facebook, you know, maybe 5 or 7 people will react or comment or something. I mean, not a whole lot. Just to, you know. But I think
for me, like, max would be maybe 100-ish, depending on what it is. Like, usually when it's like, if I take a really good selfie and post it, maybe, you know, or something cutesy with me and my boyfriend, something like that. But, you know, like, run-of-the-mill, maybe, I don't know, 30, 40 people.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing.
You're way more popular than me, it's true.
I don't know about that, but...
Well, his post got shared over 1,000 times.
Nice.
And he must have created, like, an event for it, and that got shared.
Ooh, fancy.
So, over 13,000 people were interested in throwing rotten eggs at the boat, and 4,000 people said they'd attend.
Nice. That's the power of social media.
That's right. That's the power of social media. And I'm here going like, you know what? Jeff Bezos needs to smell like rotten eggs. I mean, it's obscene.
I know. I'm here for it.
It's like, you don't need a super yacht. You could, you know, maybe pay your workers a living wage or provide them with vacation and sick time and health care.
Or let people who drive your vans have a break so they don't have to pee in, you know, plastic bottles.
Mm-hmm.
Water bottles. I mean, when you have to release something that says "do not use the bathroom in the vehicle," I mean, that there's a problem.
Right.
There's a reason people are using the bathroom in the vehicle, and that's the problem. I mean, just saying.
So, super hating Jeff Bezos over here, because gross. Like, make a smaller boat. Not that many people like you for you. They like your money, but no one actually likes you.
I mean, is it you have to have it? That's my thing. It's like, I don't know. I feel like it all goes back to that Jurassic Park thing where it's like, what was that where they say, about the, did you stop and think that we should? You know,
right.
Like, yeah, you found it, you know, you can, but did you stop to think that you should do that? I mean, what is this going to do? I mean, just like make you in the Guinness Book of World Records because you had the biggest fucking ship? I mean, what is it? Who cares?
Random tangent. My Uncle Fred sent me an email about it's a YouTube video about how they're using DNA or chickens, or I haven't watched the whole video, I'm gonna be honest, but apparently they're using chickens in order to potentially create smaller versions of pterodactyls, and I'm like,
no,
is that a good idea?
No.
Should we do that, even if they're small? Like, maybe
even all those memes that say about, oh, we can do this with this DNA and that DNA, and it's like there were literally like, there's a 5-movie franchise out there why we should not. You know, all the bad things that could go wrong. I mean, I'm right there for you. Whoever created that meme, 100%. No, nobody
So there we go. Jeff Bezos, don't make Jurassic Park 7. Get a smaller boat.
Yes, 100%.
Well, that's what I brought to Judge this week. So, Claire, would you like to explain how this podcast works?
So we were looking for like ideas on how to do the podcast, and we were like, how about we just make it completely random? Like, we don't have like a theme or a topic, so our theme is random.
Yes, it is.
And we've gone to friends and family and asked like topics, like what are different topics you would like to hear us talk about, and we've compiled a list. And we put the list in one of those little like wheel things that, random generator wheel things. And so that's how we're going to pick our topic for every week. It's just a random wheel generator. And
that's right.
Yeah, so that.
And so there's no rules. We have no rules. It's here is a random topic. Go and find the thing that you want to bring to the table. So, Claire, what was our random topic?
It can be loosely related. It can be directly related. I don't even know. So for this week, we just chose one ourselves. It was like the first one. So shout out to our friend Nick, who lives in Lexington, who suggested sharks. So
welcome to Shark Week.
We're talking about sharks.
All right, Claire, would you like to go first this week?
So do you want to go first?
I'll let you go first.
Okay. So I'm directly talking about sharks. But my thing is how sharks are kind of the misunderstood creature of the ocean.
Aww.
Because, yeah, I know. Now, am I saying go out and hug a shark? No, that's not what I'm saying. Okay, like,
yes, actually, do not hug a shark.
Right? Don't do that. That's not what I'm saying. But as far as sharks are concerned, like, there are, I don't know if you knew this, but there are like over 400 species. And they are like one of the, if not the oldest species that's been around since the dinosaurs. And I read that they
I was gonna say, I read something like 2 weeks ago. They're fucking older than dinosaurs.
I know. It says that they, like, sharks as a species have survived, what was it, four or five mass extinction events? And I'm just like, what?
Anyway. Just in case you're keeping record, that's all of the mass extinction events so far. Yes, we've only had 5.
Yeah. Oh, and I got my stuff from like Scientific America blog, what was it, HakaiMagazine.com, Ranker, and then there's this guy on TikTok, and he also has a YouTube channel, Casual Geographic on YouTube, and then it's at MNDIAYE_97 on TikTok. He's
That's
like
right.
The animal guy. Yeah, he's like the animal guy on TikTok. Like every video he has is about animals and ridiculousness. So, and how like some animals just like, why are they still here? And other animals are like, how did you survive that encounter with that animal? Because it's ridiculous. So, but yeah, over 400 species of sharks, but mainly focusing on your main predators like great white, bull shark, tiger shark, those kind of things.
The one with all the teeth. Got it.
But yeah, misunderstood creatures. I know everybody thinks they're like, yes, yeah, the ones with the big teeth that, are in all the movies that say, oh no, there's a shark, blah. But, because of movies like Jaws, which, I mean, come on, Jaws. I love that movie. I really do.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
Scared the shit on me as a kid, but I do love it as an adult. Yes. So, like, movies, TV shows, I mean, they obviously perpetuate the myth that sharks are out to get people, like, the second they hop in the water.
That's right.
Which, that's
all they want. Obviously. They just want to eat people flesh. Yummy.
Yes.
People flesh.
Well, see, that's the thing. They don't. Like, they're extremely picky eaters as far as fish. Yes. As far as, like, I know everybody thinks they're like the garbage can of the ocean, but apparently they're not. They're picky eaters. They don't like the way humans taste. They just come after humans because they make the same movement, or apparently they don't have good eyesight. And they mistake them for a fish or a seal or something like that, because of the way you're splashing in the water, that kind of thing. So they really don't like.
I'm not a seal. Not.
Yeah, right.
Not. Wrong.
But they really just don't like the way we taste. And they're actually disappearing. I don't know if you knew this, but obviously humans are horrible things.
Yes, we are. We're the dicks of the food chain.
Humans kill 100 million sharks a year.
For what reason?
For finning. I don't know. Have you heard of this?
Oh God, like for shark fin soup? That's bullshit.
Yes.
And it's not even a good soup. I don't know. I've never had it, but it sounds disgusting.
It's $100 a bowl, and it lets people know that you're this prestigious person because you can pay to get shark fin soup in some places.
Dude, go buy a Gucci bag.
I know, right?
Carry your Gucci bag. It's much better.
Carry your Gucci bag. Don't eat shark fin soup. But they'll just pull the shark up onto the boat, cut the fin off,
yeah,
and then just dump it. And because sharks are basically just cartilage. There's no bone, no nothing else that's worth anything. So they cut the fin off and they just dump the bleeding body back in the water.
Aw, I don't like that.
I know, right? So humans kill 100 million sharks every year, while sharks only kill 5 to 15 humans annually.
I feel like sharks need to increase that ratio and be like, all right. You know what? You taste bad. You're disgusting, but you're going down. You're destroying my happy place.
But I mean, I think that's what's really sad is it's just, people back even with elephants and rhinos and all that to get the ivory. It's like, but why?
People are so awful. I hate people.
Stop. It's one of those things. And, but sharks, they are not the apex predator of the ocean. I mean, they are one of them, but they do have natural enemies. One of them being the orca, which is where I'm coming to with my point.
the biggest dick of the sea.
Yes. Apparently orcas are the real bullies of the ocean.
Well, I mean, let's all be honest. Free Willy is one of those,
Again, TV's a movie perpetuating a myth that, orcas are this friendly. I'm not gonna lie. I loved Free Willy as a kid. Made me want to be a marine biologist.
Mm-hmm. That was propaganda. It's orca propaganda.
Yeah, I became obsessed with orcas and dolphins and those kind of things. And Lisa Frank did not help that either. But,
fair.
Was right there. She was right there perpetuating my, love for sea creatures.
With the sparkles and the bright colors.
The colors right? 100%. She was right there.
Big orca pays her.
I mean, seriously. And apparently, though, orcas are the real bullies of the ocean, always. They will just slap the shit out of their prey, knocking seals and manta rays, stingrays up 80 feet in the air. And everybody's like, oh, it's to stun them before they eat them. Not always. Sometimes they do that just to be a dick. They're like, oh, I'm going to beat the shit out of you until you die, and I'm going to watch you sink to the bottom of the ocean.
And just be like,
yeah. And it's just we're just going to torture you until you die. And then, And they also kill sharks. There was one, it was one instance it was in May 2017, the 4 great white shark carcasses washed up on the beach in South Africa. And I quote, each of the sharks sustained brutal damage to their livers and testicles. The former of these, listen to this though, the former of these, which was removed from all 4 sharks, is known to possess essential nutrients for orcas, providing a possible reason for the meticulous attacks.
Holy shit.
The orca fucking knows that the shark liver is what it needs, and it knows where it is in the shark's body, and it fucking bit it out.
Oh my god, they're sadistic torturer serial killers. I'm gonna eat
100%.
They're the Hannibal Lecters of the sea, damn it.
They really are. It's what? I'm reading some of this and I'm just are you kidding me? I knew orcas were bullies and the shit like that, but then it's you get into it and you're like, wait, what? They try to eat other whales. They'll surround a mother and her calf and try to separate it, get the calf away from the mom, and then they ram it until they knock it out or kill it, and then they eat it. And it's just what is happening here, people? But also found out too, the real champions of the ocean are humpback whales.
Oh?
Yes, because apparently now humpback whales have been like, if they come upon orcas who are doing this to another creature or whatever, the humpback whales try to intervene and like get
Aw.
the orcas to stop
And they're like,
being
stop
dicks.
being dicks. The sea is for everyone.
And they said that some of the humpback whales, yeah, some of the humpback whales that they saw when this is going on, a lot of them had scars that could have potentially been from orca attacks when they were young. So they've got some PTSD going on.
And they're like,
and
God damn it, I'm big now. I'm going to kill you.
yeah, right? So they're just like, so it's like, orcas are the bullies of the ocean, and humpback whales apparently have now become the bouncers of the ocean. Like, excuse me? No, thank you.
I love that. That's amazing.
It is. But yeah, so we kill, I mean, obviously, as far as sharks are concerned, humans are one of their biggest predators because we're just assholes.
Fair.
It's like, and for what? Like you said, soup that's not even that great.
Yeah.
You know.
It looks disgusting. I've seen pictures.
Oh, I know. It doesn't even look good. But anyway, also dolphins. Dolphins with the in the sharks. The dolphins can, you know, not obviously as big a predator as the orcas, but dolphins get in there too. Dolphins can hold their own with sharks. So there's also that. But also dolphins can be dicks as well.
Well, yes.
I feel like they're like the small, I feel like they're like the little brother of
The orcas.
the orca, as far as like, you know, the little bully brother that's like, oh, here's my big brother, it's my little brother kind of thing.
Right.
You know, because they gang up on other dolphins, gang rape other dolphins. I mean, it's a whole big thing. So it's just, you know, I learned all kinds of stuff. I was like, great.
Our childhoods are ruined. It turns out orcas and dolphins are the, you know, the predators of the sea, and sharks are just like, we have teeth, but like, we only bite if we're hungry. Leave us alone.
Yeah, it's just like,
we're not dicks.
Yeah, it's like we're just out here looking for food. That's all we're doing. We just want
eating.
some food. We just want to, or they're like, if they feel like threatened, you know, that kind of thing.
Well, fair. I bite when I'm threatened too, so.
Right. But anyway, yeah. So sharks are not what we thought they were. I mean, let's go back to Finding Nemo. Fish are friends, not food, kind of thing. But
well, now I want a pet shark.
Right, but one of the reasons too, sharks are considered fish, but they're also warm-blooded, which is weird. But as are orcas, because orcas are mammals. But it's like they can overpower the sharks because they breathe air, like they actually, you know, have to come up. So I guess it gives them more oomph with their warm-bloodedness. Don't you like my scientific terms?
So what you're saying is we need to invent a way for sharks to breathe air above water so that they can fulfill their life as apex predator.
Perhaps. That might be what this is. Yep. But yeah, they really are the misunderstood creatures of the ocean. Saw a shark a couple years ago at Myrtle Beach. That's been going there for decades. Literally decades. Finally saw one like 2 years ago. It was only about 5 feet long. But it was like, they just calmly, and it's not like what you see in the movies either, where they're like whistling, they're like, get out of the water, you know. The guy just blows his whistle. He's just standing there like, just everybody needs to come in. So we just thought, because they'll do that sometimes if there's like a school of fish, because there's like a potential for a shark to come.
Right.
If there's a giant school of fish near. And so we just thought it was something like that. And this lady who was sitting near my family asked the lifeguard what it was, and he said, there's a shark. There's been a shark sighting. So she comes back, and it's not like she screams or anything. She comes back, and we hear her tell her husband that she's like, he said there was a shark, and everybody, then you can see it like start making its way down the beach, like that there's a shark. So everybody is literally like standing on the edge,
right,
looking, and then here it comes, just like swimming down the coast. This little 5-foot shark. You saw its little fins sticking up out of the water. And
I love that you're like, this little 5-foot shark. I'm not that much bigger. So, I mean, don't get me wrong. I would be standing on the edge.
A foot bigger.
So, like, I'd be
bigger.
I'd be standing on the edge being like, oh, cool, it's a shark. But I'd also be going, man, that thing is pretty much as big as me.
I know, right? It's, yeah. So, but I mean, when you think of shark, everybody like freaks out, like, oh my God, it's this huge shark, you know, but anyway.
I mean, we've seen small sharks, like, you know, little baby shark guys kind of swimming around because, you know, people fish at the ocean. I've seen that, but I've never seen, like, a shark my size that wasn't in the aquarium. So cool.
But yeah, it just kind of broke my heart a little bit because I still kind of have like this soft spot for orcas, but now it's like, why you guys gotta be that way?
I mean, you know, I suppose not all orcas are bad, but like, Free Willy was propaganda, Claire. Free Willy would kill you and eat you for kicks and giggles.
Right. Well, and you know, and then that whole thing about, what was it, Tillicum down with SeaWorld and all that.
Mm-hmm.
They had that Blackfish documentary about. You know, I watched that and that was like horrifying.
Yeah.
But in that aspect, it's like, but this fish was like, you know, this whale was in captivity his entire life and treated like shit.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, can you blame him for?
Dude, like, I'd kill my person if I were a giant, huge mammal that was like, you don't give me enough fish and you mean to me all the time and I just don't want to do another jump up in the air, okay? I'm done.
Like, I'm tired. Yeah, I don't want to do this anymore.
Especially when deep down my soul is telling me that I'm actually a giant bully dick, so I should just take charge of the situation.
But, right. But I mean, they talked about how they are like incredibly smart.
Mm-hmm.
Almost even, you know, smarter than humans to a certain extent. You know, they can figure things out.
I'm gonna be honest. I feel like most of the animal kingdom is smarter than humans. It's just they don't gang up together like humans tend to do.
Right. And they don't have opposable thumbs. So.
There's a lack of community.
Yes. But anyway, that was what I found out about sharks. The one that really blew my mind, though, was that one about those sharks washing up on the beach. And they're missing their testicles, and you're like, wait, what?
I'm telling you, Hannibal Lecter. They were Hannibal Lectering the crap out of those sharks. They're like, oh, have some, you 100%. Know. But they had some fava beans and a nice Chianti along with that liver, so.
Yeah. But that's like the biggest thing that I was reading was like sharks with the thing, you know, when they're hunting and they want food.
Mm-hmm.
Orcas actually injure other sea creatures for malicious intent. They don't, you know, it's not necessarily because they want to eat. It's, you know,
like,
they'll slap a thing
there's
around
someone that I can go beat up because I wanna. It feels like high school, Claire. It's totally 1980s, 1990s high school. You're not allowed to beat people up anymore. But back in the old days when no one paid attention.
Right, 100%. So that is my shark.
Very nice. We learned a lot about how they're actually not giant dicks, which is unfortunate because for my story, I chose to perpetuate the myth that all sharks are awful and bad. Not really. Not really. But, you know, when you think sharks, if the first thing you think of is not Donna, 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 then what are you doing? What are you doing? So I, in fact, am doing the nightmare that was the making of Jaws.
Yes. I love this story.
I mean, so most everyone has seen Jaws, and as we know, the first one was terrifying and wanted to be terrifying, but probably became terrifying by total accident, especially after I tell you all the things that went wrong. But
right.
Then we all know about the sequels that were just more and more terrible. But I have some lovely notes myself because we're not plagiarists. I got most of my information from an Uprocks article from a few years ago when they were celebrating an anniversary of the movie. I don't remember which one, because that movie is older than me. Thank you. Thank you.
Was it like 70,
I don't know.
74?
I honestly didn't look any of that up.
Or something like that. Yeah, something like that.
But, I mean, I feel like there's like lore surrounding like the making of Jaws. Like we all know that the stupid mechanical shark wasn't working, and that's why you don't really see the shark until the end, and that ended up working out in their favor because it made it more scary. So like we all know bits about it. But there's so many ridiculous things that happened on this set as they were trying to make this this amazing movie. Now, Claire, do you know who directed Jaws?
Steven Spielberg.
That is correct. You get a gold star.
Yay!
Well, Steven Spielberg had a vision. And he would do anything to make that vision come to life. And I mean pretty much anything. So you may remember in the movie, it's been a few years since I watched it, but there is a scene where you see these great whites attacking like a shark cage.
Yes.
In the water. Okay.
Yeah.
So they had shark experts that lured great whites in order to film this scene. Now the problem is that these shark experts could not find sharks big enough to fulfill Steven Spielberg's desires.
Like he wanted the mega shark.
Yes, he wanted mega sharks, and the only ones they could get were a good 10 feet smaller. And I'm like, what? 10 feet smaller? Because, like, the heck? How fucking big were these sharks supposed to be? Like, my brain just can't fathom a bigger shark. They were like, really big sharks.
Like, in Steven Spielberg's brain, like, how big did you think sharks were?
Right.
Like, did you just think they were like as big as blue whales? Is that what you had in your brain? I mean,
I think you did. But if you can't get big sharks, Claire, what's the next best thing to do?
You make it. You build it. I don't know.
Well, so if you can't get sharks as big as you want, instead of filming with a normal-sized human being, you get a little person stuntman and put them in a miniature cage and let the other sharks attack it. So they look bigger. Isn't that clever? So
they got like a dwarf?
I believe the term is little person.
Little person,
but,
okay.
Yeah, someone who had, I guess suffer is not the right word. Someone who has, is it still dwarfism? I think is the medical term.
That's why I said dwarf. Because it's dwarfism, I think. Yeah. I could be wrong.
I think, yeah, because there's different types. I haven't watched Little People Big World in several years, so I'm completely out of touch. But going with little people because it seemed to be the correct term. If I'm wrong, please, the whole world come at me.
Yes. So they use
correct it. And so
a smaller cage.
They got a little person stuntman, and they were going to film it in a miniature cage so that it would look bigger, and these big sharks attacking would look even bigger.
Oh, okay.
So they found.
I mean, I get it. I mean, that's probably cheaper than actually like building one to like, that instance. Yeah.
I mean, like it's a reasonable idea. I mean, okay, sure. So
it's like a forced, almost like one of those things where it's like a forced perspective.
Right.
I guess kind of how they shot. I don't know if you've seen this. How they shot Elf to make him look bigger than all the other people, where he would, be back further, and they would be like a really close up or something like that. The way the camera was, like it was one of those forced perspectives. It wasn't. So they were in the same room at the same time, but they're like really far away from each other kind of thing. So it's almost like one of those like trick of the eye kind of.
That's what they were going for. Of course, this was 1974, and they were filming underwater. So who knows how that.
Right.
But so they found a 4'11" stuntman named Cal Rizzo, which is an excellent name.
Yes.
Couple problems. Cal, though a professional stuntman, was not a diver. In fact, his career had mostly been as a stunt double for children, usually riding horses.
I was gonna say, can you get over here and tell me that he like couldn't swim? Is that gonna be a thing?
Well, swimming and diving are different.
I know, but still, it was just like that would be like the irony of ironies. I want you to film this scene, but he can't swim.
But he was good at riding horses. He apparently was in National Velvet as a stunt double for somebody. And it may surprise you, Claire. Are you ready?
Yes.
Riding horses and diving in a shark cage don't actually have a lot of the same skills.
No.
I know. I mean, it's insane. You'd think it's basically the same thing. There's animals in both of them, so is that not the same?
I mean, color me surprised.
But so it turns out Cal actually was terrified of diving and also terrified of gigantic great white sharks coming at him under the water. I mean, fair.
He sounds like a smart person, just saying. I don't know that I'd be a fan of that either. Just, okay. Mm-hmm.
And so to top it all off, if you recall, they wanted a little person in a miniature shark cage in order to make it look bigger. So, of course, they had to give him a miniature air tank.
Oh, no.
Because, small things.
Because you have to make everything smaller.
Everything has to be smaller.
Yeah.
And so, like, I think they did maybe one take, and he quickly ran out of air and came up choking on water because they're trying to make him stay down as long as, because it takes a while. You got to get the sharks to come and like attack, and he's in a tiny cage and these huge sharks are coming at him. And so when he comes up, he's like, choking on the water because he's underwater. He's in a miniature air tank. He's also scared, so he's breathing the air much faster. And when they come up, when they finally get him up, the production designer Joe Alves says, "Small people breathe in the same amount of air as the rest of us." Like, oh. It's so fucking stupid.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, thanks, Joe, for that helpful bit of wisdom. Turns out, yes, little people are people too. Wow. So I'm sure you're shocked to know that Cal refused to do another take after that. He was like, nope, I'm out. Peace out.
I mean, can you blame him?
No. Like, I feel like they didn't try that hard to find maybe a little person who is a professional diver. Like,
right, it was just like, oh, does somebody know somebody?
It was just like, oh, it's a stunt guy. He can do it. I'm like, that's not how stunts work.
Right. Oh, yeah, you're a stunt guy. You can do anything.
Oh.
It doesn't matter what the stunt is. You can just do it. So.
Fun fact. He apparently was a stunt double for Elizabeth Taylor at some point. And I'm like, how?
He was a what?
He was the stunt double for Elizabeth Taylor at some point in some movie somewhere. And I'm like...
What?
I don't know.
Wow. That's... I don't even have words for that. That's insane.
Yeah, I really should have tracked down which movie that was, because it didn't tell me. It just like, oh, and he was Elizabeth Taylor stunt double. I'm like, what?
Oh my gosh.
Why? What was she doing?
Why?
Obviously, probably riding a horse somewhere. So, we have Cal saying, hell no, not again.
Right.
And they're like, oh, okay. So their solution, and you might remember this from the movie, is that they end up just filming an empty cage being attacked by the sharks. There's no one in the cage.
Oh, okay.
It's so stupid. I love it so much.
It was just, okay. Yeah, I recall that.
So that was
but
one
it
thing.
Make it seem like there was somebody in the cage.
I think they like...
it was a first-person perspective kind of thing.
Oh, maybe that's what it was.
Like there was like a camera in the cage, and it was like coming at you. I think that's how they did it. So there wasn't, that kind of like there wasn't see the person, but
it's just like,
maybe.
well, and like these were.
I could be wrong about that.
Well, like I don't even know who you get to do this, like, as anybody, because it's not like semi-trained sharks that probably won't eat you. They literally lured them in with that chum in the water. They were authentic great white sharks that wanted to eat things. Like, I don't want to be in that cage. Are you insane?
I know, right? Yeah. It's not like they've got like Bart the bear out there, you know. Oh, this is a trained bear. Fine.
That like probably won't try and kill you. I mean, it's always dangerous, but like probably won't. You're probably fine.
Right. 100%.
So that was one of many nightmares they got to deal with on set. Fun.
Hooray.
The next big issue is, it kind of ties in. Steven Spielberg, again, perfectionist, insane person, demanded that the movie was filmed in the ocean. Hence the luring in great white sharks to attack with the chum in the water.
Like
there were no tanks.
Not like a sound stage where they were creating their own ocean. Okay, I see what you're saying.
There were no tanks. It was all filmed on actual ocean, and it was a nightmare. So there were...
Yeah, obviously.
There were a trio of animatronic sharks that had been made to be Jaws. Collectively, they were known as Bruce, which I'm here for that.
Which is why the shark in Finding Nemo was Bruce.
I did not know that. That makes so much sense. I love that. Fun fact.
That was like their little nod, like, oh, we're gonna name our great white Bruce. That was their nod to that. So.
Well, I'm sure you'll be shocked to know that Bruce didn't work super well in salt water because he was not really built for salt water. And
because that's what they said that when they built it, like he worked fine. He worked fine in freshwater, like a regular pool tank thing. But when they got him out in the ocean, it was like the salt water really messed with the mechanics.
Yeah, it ruins everything. One of the cast members said they got the whole thing put together, and when they dumped it in the water, everything fried.
Oh my gosh.
Apparently, they realized that salt water affects the electronics, the electricity, electrolysis, I think is the word that they used, which...
Not the same. Yeah.
I was like, oh, hey.
Or like the conductivity and all that stuff. Yeah.
But my favorite quote from everything that I read was they had the producers out to come kind of check things out, and they were going to show off the shark animatronic, one of them. And so like they put it into the salt water and it went splash, flop, 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 and sank to the bottom of the sea.
I just lost it at the time.
And I was like, that's a great line. Flop, 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 flop.
That's fantastic.
Not off to a great start. So, yeah, so Spielberg and his ocean dreams sank to the bottom of the sea.
Right.
Number 3 in our nightmare list. Robert Shaw was a drunk douche.
Oh, that makes me sad because he's my favorite.
Well, you'll actually enjoy it. It's kind of fun. Like, I mean, he was a classically trained, maybe Shakespearean actor at some point. Like he's like, yes, Olivier is basically him.
Told me that. Mom had told me that, and I was just like, that's so funny because you see him in that movie and it's just like, wait, what?
Right.
What?
But he, as a coworker, was a loose cannon, and you never really knew what to expect. One of the cast, Peter Benchley, I don't know who he played. I didn't write that down. But he said you never knew if he was going to smack you in the head or knock you down or embrace you or what. He just was all over the place. It's like, smack you in the head, knock you down, or, give you a big hug. I'm like, what? But so...
Peter Benchley may have been the mayor. If I... may have been the mayor. Hang on. Let's IMDb this shit right now.
That's right. Get that list out. Teach me.
I know, right? Oh, I think he was the writer.
Oh, was Peter Benchley the writer? Oh, well, that's even more fun.
Right.
Because he's just sitting there watching this happen, like, dude.
So he was the one who wrote the book. So yeah, that's why I know that.
Ah, okay.
I'm a dumbass. I was like, that name sounds familiar.
I was just I wrote it down and was like, he was there on the set doing something. Everything else had like who they were, and I'm like, I don't know who this guy is. But
he wrote the book. That's why we know that name.
Jaws by Peter Benchley. Well, Robert Shaw drank a lot during filming.
That honestly really doesn't surprise me that much.
He drank so much that they assigned PAs to keep him from going into bars.
What? Like, I'm sorry, I'm here to follow you.
When they're like, oh, hey, we need you back on set in 10 minutes, so go take a quick break or whatever. Someone had to be with him to make sure he didn't wander into a bar downtown, because
oh my gosh,
he was that guy. So basically,
I'm sorry, you're here to babysit Robert Shaw. So it's fine.
So the infamous Indianapolis speech.
His character was.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that whole thing at the end, where he, that whole scene at the end, well, towards the end, not the end, but towards the end where they're on the boat and he starts telling them about, fun fact, kids, my, one of my civics teachers in high school let us watch this entire movie for this one single scene, because where he talks about the shipwreck and them being out in the ocean and how the sharks were coming, and people, anybody who had survived the actual sinking of the ship was then attacked by sharks. And my teacher let us watch the whole movie of Jaws when I was a sophomore in high school, just for that one single scene. Because he just mentions this thing that happened. That's a real thing. That's a real life event. What was the name of the ship? I can't remember.
Indianapolis?
Indianapolis, that was it, yes.
Because that's my next story.
Yes!
That very speech that you love so much. He was so drunk trying to film that speech that they had to shoot it again. He had to be carried off the boat. He was so drunk.
Wow.
And this is how that happened. And this is my favorite story about Steven Spielberg. So, Robert Shaw says to Steven, Steven, all three of the characters have been drinking. And I think I could do a much better job in this speech if you let me actually have a few drinks before I do the speech.
How much is he saying is a few? That's what I want to know. What is your few and what's Steven Spielberg's few?
Well, and Steven Spielberg was like, oh, that makes sense. Yeah, sure. And then he was so drunk, he literally had to be carried onto the boat to try and film it. He couldn't get through it. God. They had to carry him off. It was...
Nice. But that whole thing, even before when they're singing that song, they start singing, they're showing off their scars.
Mm-hmm.
That whole scene where they're there, it's show me the way to go home. Tired, I want to go to bed. Yeah, that whole thing. I'm just I love it. That's one of my top 10 movie scenes, I swear.
So that was number 3 of the nightmare list. Number 4 was the boat, the orca, which we now know means giant dick bully, but...
Yes. Maybe, hey, that's a thing. They knew orcas were bullies, and they're we're going to name this boat the orca because we're going to go out and we're going to kill this fucking shark.
That's right.
That's what this is.
So, the orca actually sank during filming due to some kind of an accident, and it took cast and crew down with it.
Whoa.
I mean, I don't think anyone died, but they all got very wet.
Yeah,
it was not a good time.
Wow.
One of the producers.
I want to know how much recording and filmmaking equipment was destroyed in the making of this movie?
Oh, I'll get there.
Okay.
One of the producers said, "We heard on the walkie-talkie the screams and panic of this riot going on because the boat's sinking, and people are like, get us off the boat, everything, you know."
Yeah.
And the sound man, John Carter, who is my new favorite person, who's not on the boat, but is like, as they're like heading out to rescue or do whatever, he's like, "Fuck the actors, save the sound department."
Yes. Actors can be replaced.
Mm-hmm. It's true. You can get more. But so the Orca was just one of the boats that sank during filming. Because, you know.
Just one.
Just
so
one of.
Boats.
So
okay.
they had a lot of problems. But their mothership boat that carried all of the equipment sank.
Oh no. Oh my gosh.
This is the most expensive movie ever, I swear.
Like, really, this movie even like came to the theaters. I mean, how did it even make its way? Like, the fact that they didn't just like throw their hands into the air and say "fuck it," you know?
No kidding. Because so that's actually my next point is.
At that point. We don't.
Huh?
I said they might have been at that point. Yeah. We don't know.
Well, and like my next point is how far over budget this movie went. So, you know, they had the sinking boats, the loss of equipment, you know, disasters everywhere. And the original budget was $3.5 million.
And that's kind of a lot, I feel, for the 70s.
Yeah. Well, and also for like a thriller movie.
Feel like that's...
So their actual final budget was $8 million.
Oh, geez.
So over twice their estimated budget. And it was only supposed to take 55 days to shoot this film.
Uh-oh. How long did it take?
It actually took 159 days to shoot this film.
Oh my gosh.
And so, like, cast and crew were super upset because they had lots of other jobs that they missed out on. Like, it was just a nightmare.
Yeah.
At one point, Roy Scheider became so fed up he threw a food tray on the deck, screamed at the assistant director, shouted at Steven Spielberg, and threw a gigantic temper tantrum.
I mean...
I just can kind of see him like...
I feel like at a certain point, it's probably kind of warranted. You know?
It's way over budget. It's like 3 times as many days long to shoot. Like, it's obscene.
Right. 100%.
And so we make it to my final nightmare of the filming of Jaws. So, again, as we know, they had to shoot it out all on the sea to make Spielberg happy, and so they had to rent lots of boats from lots of locals. And the locals were very angry because they found out that unionized Teamsters were getting more money than they were.
Oh.
And so they threatened like violence, and they quit for a while. But eventually, you know, because they wanted higher pay, and they were told no. And so eventually they came back because even still, their original pay is better than nothing at all.
Yeah.
But they weren't happy about it.
Making more, when you find out somebody's making more money than you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, whatever.
And they're like, but we're letting you use our boat.
Yeah.
Come on.
Just like, well, I'm going to take my boat and I'm going home. You know.
But they're pretty petty. And so they would just do little sabotage. Things would just disappear. And my personal favorite... So, like, they just stole shit all the time. They're like, that's right, you take that. It's like, I can sell this to some Yahoo and get my money. You know? But my favorite thing is that Spielberg was obsessed with the idea of, like, a clear horizon, no boats out there, so that you felt that sense of isolation and abandonment, you know, and because it's a horror movie.
Yeah.
But so
Yeah, like
suddenly
there's
they're just
no land, no nothing.
yeah. But so after all this went down, suddenly there were just a lot more sailboats that just kept appearing on the horizon. Because they're
Wow.
petty dicks, and I love it. I'm like, that's right.
That's what you get.
And that is the nightmare, the making of Jaws.
I mean, I knew they had issues, like and I know there are many documentaries and things out there about it, but some of that's kind of fun. Like I've never heard some of that before, especially about the stuntman, the little
No.
person stuntman. I had never heard that before. You know, that was like, what?
It is the best one. Well, to me, it's like the stuntman is hysterical because they obviously didn't try hard to find someone legitimately, suited
Right? Like,
and skilled.
it was just like, oh hey, ask Joe over there if he's got a friend who, I mean, like.
He's rode horses before. He can dive with great whites. It's the same thing.
Horses, sharks, they're both animals. It's fine. It's fine. But yes, Jaws. I love that movie.
I know. It's so bad that the others are so terribly tragic.
Terrible. Oh, I know. They're just awful.
Well, and my favorite is that in the process of reading about this, I found out that the fourth Jaws movie, which is terrible, had a novelization done of the movie in which they explain why these extra monstrous great white sharks are going after this specific family in all of the movies.
Oh, really?
And it turns out to somehow be related to some kind of a voodoo curse because some random character in the third movie was mad, and it was not well explained at all, and it's so bad.
What? That sounds awful.
I know, it's like voodoo curse in order to have Jaws number 4 Jaws number 4 come after. Like, it was like on an island, they're in the Caribbean or something. Like, it is so ridiculous.
Yeah, and then there was the one that was is it the third one where they're at the water park, and it was 3D, and it's so bad at the end when the shark like breaks through the glass, and because it's supposed to be 3D, it's just like when it's. But, I mean, I think it would look bad with 3D glasses on, but it looks terrible when you watch it on TV. It's just like, what? This is awful. Which is
so
bad.
The only way I've ever seen any of them is on like Sci-Fi Channel marathons.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I feel like the second one is not a tragedy. Like, I don't think it's.
I mean, it's a sequel, but it's
a sequel. Okay. The second one's not that bad, but I really feel like after number 2, you should have just stopped. Because I know which one. I think I know which one you're talking about. Is that the one that's got like Michael Caine in it and is on a helicopter? There's one that I remember seeing where it's like there's a helicopter that goes down and you think Michael Caine dies, but he doesn't, kind of thing. But I'm just like, Michael Caine, why are you in this Jaws movie? What is this? This is ridiculous.
And apparently the fourth one was so bad that there's never been another one. And like,
I'm pretty sure that's the fourth one that had Michael Caine in it, if I'm not mistaken.
Unlike Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street or Halloween, those keep getting new incarnations. Like Scream even has come back in different forms. Like, I Know What You Did Last Summer is now a TV series. Like, I mean, it just keeps coming back. But not Jaws. No, they killed that to dead. After that fourth movie.
Seriously, that fourth movie was bad. Like I said, the third one was bad. But I really feel like the last one. Yeah, it was Jaws the Revenge. Yep. That's the fourth one. Yep, that's with Michael Caine. Yep. That's it. It's pretty bad, not gonna lie.
Alright, so shall we close this out with our fun new thing for our first episode?
Yes.
Our weekly tarot reading. Ooh, spooky.
Spooky.
As you can see here, Claire, I have my magical moon lamp.
Fancy.
It is very fancy. And also my magical tarot card.
That came from Latvia, by the way.
Yes, these are Latvian tarot cards. Therefore, they are more powerful. And you can't prove me wrong. So,
Right.
All right, Claire, I'm going to do me a shuffle here. I'm going to do it on camera. Tell me when to stop.
All right. Stop.
All right, Claire. We are going to do the traditional 3-card spread because it's the only one I know how to do.
Okay.
We have Judgment.
Yes. For Brunch and Judge, baby.
We have the 7 of Swords. And we have the Queen of Cups. And they are all upright because I haven't shuffled them upside down yet.
Oh, okay.
That's right. I've worked very hard to not do that because I'm not ready. I'm not ready for inverted meetings. Here is my
You're like,
cheat sheet book. Woo,
Yes.
It's a mystical universe guidebook.
We gotta start simple. Can't do it too.
All right, so this is going to tell us about our week going forward. You ready?
Yes.
So our week starts with Judgment, which feels pretty accurate because this is the start of our week and we've been judging all morning.
We have.
So I'm going to open up my thing here and find it, maybe. Do. Gotta love the fun music. Okay, here it is. The Judgment card often indicates that you need to take you need to make a life-changing decision. But unlike those associated with the Logical Justice card, this decision requires a blend of intuition and intellect. You are experiencing a spiritual awakening and realizing that you are destined for so much more. This is your cosmic up-leveling. You hear the call and are ready to act. Tune in to a higher frequency. Let go of your old self and step into this newest version of who you really are.
Noted.
Well, that feels accurate. We're starting a new
Right?
thing. I mean, we're going forward. We're life-changing, maybe, as soon as this takes off, right? Right? Like and
That's
subscribe. Like and subscribe. 5-star review.
That's right.
All right. So that's how we start our week. So we're going to go into our week with our 7 of Swords. S-words.
S-words, yep.
Mm-hmm. So going through our week, the 7 of Swords is about deception.
Uh-oh.
And being sneaky about a situation rather than facing it head on. It may be you.
Do you know what reminded me of when you said that? That song from Lion King 2 where it's like, deception, disgrace. That's what that reminded me of when you said that. When that like band Kovu from the Kingdom.
Oh, poor Kovu.
I know, you said deception, like deception, disgrace. Yep. That's okay, continue. Sorry.
It may be you or someone in your life who's going behind the backs of others. It's probably us. It's probably us,
yeah.
We do judge. It's fine. When drawing this card, be sure to reflect on your intentions and make sure they are pure.
Interesting.
And our week will culminate with the Queen of Cups. I like ending with a queen. That feels good. Feels good.
Yes, queen.
That's right. Somewhere is my cups. Cups. I love this handy dandy little book. It's very helpful. Very cute. Oh, are you ready?
Yes.
The Queen of Cups is a warm-hearted and emotionally secure figure who is intuitively in tune with the emotions of others. She welcomes all with open arms and provides guidance and emotional support. Be empathetic and supportive of those around you. So our week will end with a calm, nurturing, compassionate feel. That sounds nice. It's a good week.
It does, yeah. Yeah.
So we
Not
start
too shabby.
with our judging. We have some betrayal and deception and selfishness and things we need to be concerned about. But then we all have calm and happiness and peace and compassion.
Right.
So it'll be fine. And there is your week as provided by someone who barely knows tarot, hence her handy-dandy Magical Universe Guidebook. Learn with me as we go.
Our cheat sheet.
That's right.
All right, are you ready for the wheel? To find out what
It's our wheel of fate. Like, it's a whole nother level.
It is.
What will next week be?
It is a whole other level.
No whammy, no whammy, no whammy, no whammy, no whammy.
No whammy. Oh my god. UFOs.
Yes! UFO! 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 It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. I can't wait. So make sure that you join us next week for our next episode of Brunch and Judge, in which we will bring random, somehow related stories of UFOs. Yay! And I guess that's all we have.
That is.
So...
Oh, also,
Mhm.
if you want to submit a topic
Yes, please.
for us to put on our little handy dandy wheel of fate.
Oh yeah, we should tell people how to find us.
Yes, if you want to submit a topic, any topic, we'll stick it on our wheel of fate. brunchandjudge@gmail.com.
Amazing. And you can also
Yes, find us on Instagram. Brunch and Judge on Instagram.
where there will be amazing pictures of we don't know what yet, but there'll be fun things to judge.
Yeah, we'll post things about what we talked about in the episodes and all that kind of fun stuff. We'll find things.
All right. I guess
Oh, and
until...
also YouTube.
What?
YouTube.
Yes. We are a video audio podcast, so you can listen to us on all your favorite podcast stations, or you can watch us on YouTube and see all of our fun expressions as we're telling these ridiculous stories.
Right.
And enjoy my magical Imagine pillow in the background.
Imagine all the people. Sorry. I have musical ADD, guys. I swear. Anything that reminds me of a song, I'll sing it. It's ridiculous.
It's the charm of the show.
It's ridiculous.
All right. Well, until next time, enjoy your brunching.
And you're judging.
Bye.
Bye.
Brunch and Judge.
I love that.
Brunch and
Judge
Judge.
is a more timeless.
We brunch and judge everything and give you opinions that nobody asked for.
In comparison to Dear Evan Hansen, that everybody is like, no, this is not a great message anymore. It's really that book is horrible. The fact they made a Broadway show out of it, I'm like, are you on crack? Do you know what this book is about? Did you read it all the way through? And then I was like, oh, you made a movie? Cool. Not tone deaf at all. It's fine.
I know. That's why, like, when they made the movie out of the musical, I was like,
Oh god. And poor what's his name just left my brain.
Ben Platt.
Thank you. And like I kept wanting to say Brad. I'm like, it's not Brad.
Not
Brad.
It's not Brad.
But like,
Not Brad.
I mean, on Broadway, you can be in your 40s and play a teenager. It's fine. No one cares. You can't really see people that well. They're on stage. It's totally fine. It's great. Love it. So I get that he's like in his late 20s. He's not even old. But he looks not like a teenager on a big screen, which fine. But own that. Be like Rent, where you just make everybody older and just act like that's normal instead of having a bunch of teenagers play against a non-teenager.
Yeah.
It's
right.
like, what the hell is wrong with you? This is so disgusting. Like,
I know, right?
just
It's
own
like,
it. None of the people in the movie version of Rent were in their 20s. They were all
No.
like 40 by that point, and that's fine. We all were like,
they used most, and what was crazy about that is they used everybody in the original cast except for like 2 people.
Yeah. And they just owned it as, we're doing, it's OG cast. They made this show. So, yes, we know they're too old for these parts, but we're just gonna live in a world where that's okay, and we all just agreed to it. It was fine. I loved it. It's a great movie.
Lord knows, what's his face? Jesse L. Martin was not in his 20s when he did
No.
It's like, I will listen to you sing all day long, and I do not care that you're not in your 20s. But,
right. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it really was. I mean, you know what? Everybody, like, when I say everybody, I'm talking about critics. Critics complained about it. I was like, damn it, stupid light. I was getting ready to hit the button so it wouldn't do it again, and it did. But anyway, I was like, I didn't have any problem with that.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like they, like you said, they just owned it, and it was like, it is what it is, and we're gonna,
Well, and like, they should have just done that with the Dear Evan Hansen cast. Just pulled most of those people into the movie and be like, we're making a movie version of the OG cast. And everyone would have been like, okay.
Right?
It's fine.
I mean, exactly. That's exactly what they should have done.
Well, instead of, we're going to make a movie version, but we have to keep the one guy from the cast that we all really like, even though he's way too old. Well, we'll perm his hair so he'll look young. I'm like, that's not what curls do. No, but okay.
No, that's not what that is. No, wrong. That's not what it is at all. No. Nope. So anyway.
Well, anyway, not that has anything to do with anything.